My beloved child, pay attention. Quiet your racing thoughts for a moment and lean your heart toward me. This is not an ordinary whisper drifting through your day. This is not another passing thought you can set aside and return to later. I am speaking to you now because this moment matters more than you realize. There are seasons when I allow life to unfold gently, and there are moments when I step closer and say, listen carefully. This is one of those moments. You have been asking for something, even if you did not have the words to name it. In the silence of your heart, beneath your responsibilities and routines, there hath been a longing, a question, a quiet ache that says, is there more? Is something about to change? My beloved, I have heard that unspoken cry. I have seen the way you try to stay strong. I have watched you carry burdens you never talk about. And now I am telling you clearly, I am giving you a gift. But you must pay attention. So often, my children miss what I place before them because it does not arrive wrapped in the way they expected. They look for fireworks, while I send a sunrise. They wait for a loud announcement, while I offer a gentle shift in direction. They search for a dramatic rescue, while I quietly plant courage inside their hearts. Do not miss this because it feels subtle. Do not overlook it because it comes softly. The most powerful gifts I give are often the ones that unfold from within. Right now, something is shifting in your life. You may not see it fully yet. You may only sense a stirring, a feeling that something is about to open, or close, or transform. That stirring is not random. It is not your imagination. It is my spirit moving near you, preparing your hands to receive what I have prepared for you. I know you have grown tired in some areas. I know there are prayers you thought I had forgotten. I know there are dreams you quietly set aside because waiting felt too heavy. But I have not forgotten you. I have not overlooked a single tear, not dismissed a single sigh. Every moment has been leading to this one. Every delay had a purpose. Every closed door was protecting something sacred in you. So listen carefully, my beloved child. I am not asking you to strive harder. I am not demanding perfection. I am inviting your attention. That is all. Bring me your focus for these few moments. Let the noise fade. Let the fear soften. Let the doubt loosen its grip. Because what I am placing into your life now is not small. It is not accidental. It is not temporary. It is a gift designed specifically for you. And if you open your heart, if you truly pay attention, you will begin to see that this gift has been moving toward you for longer than you ever imagined. My beloved child, the reason I ask you to pay attention is because the world has trained you not to. Every day, your mind is pulled in 1,000 directions. Notifications, responsibilities, expectations, fears about tomorrow, regrets about yesterday. And in the middle of it all, my gentle voice can feel distant, not because I am far away, but because distraction has grown loud. I do not compete with chaos. I do not shout over your anxiety. I speak in a way that requires your heart to lean in. And many times, when I am offering you a gift, it is wrapped in stillness. But stillness can feel uncomfortable to someone who has learned to survive by staying busy. You have been carrying so much. You tell yourself that once things calm down, you will rest. Once you solve that problem, you will breathe. Once you fix that relationship, you will feel peace. But my beloved, peace is not found at the end of perfect circumstances. It is found in my presence even when life remains unfinished. Distraction is not always obvious. Sometimes it looks responsible. Sometimes it looks productive. Sometimes it even looks spiritual. But if it keeps you from hearing my reassurance, from recognizing my guidance, from noticing the gift I am extending, then it becomes a veil over your eyes. Think of a child standing at the edge of the ocean for the first time. The waves are loud. The wind is strong. The horizon is vast and overwhelming. If the child focuses only on the crashing waves, fear rises. But if the child looks down and feels the steady hand of their father holding theirs, something changes. The waves are still there, but they no longer define the moment. My beloved child, you have been staring at the waves. You have been measuring the size of your problems, calculating the risks, replaying conversations, imagining worst-case outcomes. And while you were studying the storm, you almost missed my hand reaching for yours. The gift I am giving you requires a shift of focus. Not denial of reality, but realignment of attention. There are moments when I deliberately allow the noise to expose itself, so you can see how much it has been shaping your thoughts. The constant comparison, the silent pressure to keep up, the inner voice that says you are behind. These distractions drain your strength and cloud your discernment. They make you question blessings before they even arrive. But hear me clearly. I am not the author of confusion in your life. I am not the source of relentless pressure. When my gift arrives, it carries peace with it. It carries clarity. It carries a quiet assurance that settles deep in your spirit, even if your circumstances have not yet changed. The enemy of your attention is not always sin or failure. Often, it is simple overload. Too many voices speaking into your identity. Too many opinions shaping your direction. Too many fears predicting your future. And in the crowd of all those voices, my loving whisper waits patiently. I have never stopped speaking to you. Even in your busiest days, even in your most anxious nights, I have been there. When your thoughts spiraled and you felt overwhelmed, I was the calm thought that briefly interrupted the chaos. When you felt discouraged and suddenly remembered a small hope, that was me. When you paused for a second and felt a flicker of peace without knowing why, that was my presence brushing against your heart. But to fully receive this gift, you must become aware again. You must choose, even for a few sacred moments each day, to quiet the noise. Turn down the volume of fear. Step back from constant comparison. Lay down the need to solve everything at once. Come sit with me. Let your breathing slow. Let your shoulders relax. Let your mind unclench. You do not have to earn my voice. You do not have to fight your way into my attention. You already have it. What I ask is simply that you notice. Because the gift I am giving you will not force itself into your life. It will unfold as you lean toward me. It will strengthen as you listen. It will become clear as you create space for it. My beloved child, I am closer than the noise. I am steady than the waves. And when you shift your attention from the storm to my hand, you will begin to see that what I am offering you has the power to calm everything within you, even before anything around you changes. My beloved child, there were nights when you believed I was silent. There were moments when you whispered prayers into the dark and wondered if they rose any higher than the ceiling above you. You tried to be strong in front of others, but when you were alone, your heart spoke honestly. You asked questions you were afraid to say out loud. You wondered if I truly saw you. You wondered if I truly cared. I did. Every tear you brushed away quickly so no one would notice, I counted. Every sigh you released when the pressure felt too heavy, I heard. Every time you said, "I'm fine," while carrying an ache deep inside, I understood what you could not explain. My beloved, there has never been a single second of your life when you were invisible to me. You thought your cry was too small compared to the suffering of the world. You told yourself that others had bigger problems, that you should not complain. So you minimized your own pain. But I am not overwhelmed by the needs of humanity. I am not distracted by the scale of suffering. I am your father, and your voice matters to me personally. Do you remember that day when disappointment hit you unexpectedly? When you received news that shifted your plans? When something you hoped for quietly slipped away? You held yourself together in public, but later you sat alone, staring into nothing, trying to process the weight in your chest. In that moment, when you felt abandoned or forgotten, I was closer than your breath. I was the reason you did not completely collapse under the sorrow. There were also moments of confusion. You prayed for direction, yet doors seemed to close. You asked for clarity, yet answers felt delayed. You wondered if perhaps you had done something wrong. Perhaps you missed a sign. Perhaps you were not worthy of what you were asking for. My beloved child, those thoughts did not come from me. I do not play games with your heart. I do not ignore your cries to teach you a lesson in fear. When answers seemed delayed, it was not because I was distant. It was because I was weaving together details you could not yet see. I was protecting you from paths that would have drained you. I was strengthening parts of you that needed to grow before the next door could safely open. Even in your anger, I listened. Yes, even when you felt frustrated with me. Even when your prayers sounded more like complaints. I was not offended. I was not shocked. I understood that beneath your frustration was trust. You would not cry out to me if you did not believe, somewhere deep down, that I was there. Imagine a small child learning to walk. The child stumbles and falls, sometimes crying out in frustration. The father does not withdraw his love because of the child's tear. He moves closer. He kneels down. He opens his arms. In the same way, every time you stumbled emotionally, every time you doubted your own strength, I leaned closer to you, not farther away. You may not have seen me, but I was arranging support around you. A timely message. A friend's unexpected encouragement. A moment of relief just when you thought you could not handle more. These were not coincidences. They were quiet responses to your hidden cries. My beloved child, nothing you have whispered into the dark has been wasted. Your prayers have not evaporated into silence. They have been gathered, cherished, and answered in ways that sometimes look different from what you expected, but were always shaped by my love. And now, as I tell you that I am giving you this gift, understand this. It is not sudden. It is not impulsive. It is a response. A loving answer to the cries you thought I did not hear. It is my way of showing you that your voice has always reached me, and my heart has always been turned toward you. My beloved child, the gift I am giving you is not random. It is not a sudden decision formed in response to your latest prayer. It did not begin yesterday, nor was it created in a moment of impulse. Long before you recognized your need, I had already prepared the answer. Long before you felt the ache, I had already begun weaving the comfort. What feels new to you has been carefully formed by my hands over time. You live within moments. You measure your life by days, by months, by years. But I see the entire tapestry at once. I see where you started, where you stand now, and where you are destined to go. And because I see the whole picture, I prepare gifts not only for who you are today, but for who you are becoming. There were experiences you questioned, situations that seemed unnecessary, delays that felt frustrating, yet each one shaped you. Each one strengthened your heart in ways you did not immediately understand. You thought some seasons were wasted because they did not produce visible results. But nothing in your life has been accidental. Think of a gardener planting seeds deep beneath the soil. For a long time, there is no visible change. The ground looks the same. The surface appears undisturbed. Yet beneath that quiet layer, life is forming. Roots are stretching downward. Strength is developing where no one can see it. If the gardener were impatient and dug up the soil too soon, the growth would be damaged. My beloved child, I have been growing something within you in hidden places. While you were waiting for outward signs, I was strengthening your roots. While you were asking for visible progress, I was preparing your character. The gift I am now placing before you is able to rest securely in your life because of the unseen work that has already been done. You may look back and see pain. I look back and see preparation. You may remember rejection. I remember protection. You may recall moments of loneliness. I remember the intimacy we built in those quiet hours. Nothing was meaningless. Nothing slipped through my hands. There were opportunities you thought you lost forever. There were relationships that ended abruptly. There were plans that dissolved without explanation. You interpreted those moments as failures or setbacks, but I saw them as adjustments. I redirected your steps not to deprive you, but to align you. I closed certain paths because they would have led you away from the fullness of what I intended. The gift I give is precise. It fits your life in a way that nothing else could. It is designed for your temperament, your history, your strengths, and even your scars. I do not give generic blessings. I give personal ones. I tailor them to the deepest layers of who you are. And timing matters. If I had given you this gift years ago, you might not have recognized its value. You might have mishandled it, or feared it, or doubted that you deserve it. But now, after the stretching, after the refining, after the waiting, you are positioned differently. Your heart has softened. Your wisdom has grown. Your dependence on me has deepened. This is why I say to you, pay attention. Not because I am unpredictable, but because you are stepping into a prepared moment. A moment I have seen coming long before you sensed it. My beloved child, trust that my timing is not careless. I do not rush, and I do not delay without reason. I move with purpose. I act with intention. The gift I extend to you now carries within it years of careful design. It carries love that has watched you through every high and every low. You are not receiving something random. You are receiving something intentional. And as you begin to see that your life has never been a series of accidents, but a carefully guided journey, your heart will rest. You will understand that even when you could not trace my hand, you could always trust my heart. And now, at this appointed moment, what I have prepared begins to unfold before you. My beloved child, let me tell you a story. There was once a child who stood before a closed door. Behind that door was something the child deeply desired. The child had imagined what it would look like, how it would feel, how life would change once the door opened. Every day, the child knocked. Every day, the child waited. But the door remained shut. At first, the child was hopeful, and confused, and hurt. Why won't this door open? The child whispered, "Have I done something wrong? Am I not ready? Am I not worthy?" The child did not see what the father saw. On the other side of that closed door was not the blessing the child imagined. It was a room not yet safe. It was a space unfinished, unstable, unprepared. If the door had opened too soon, the child would have walked into something that looked beautiful at first glance, but carried hidden dangers. So the father kept the door closed, not out of cruelty, not out of neglect, but out of protection. Meanwhile, in another part of the house, the father was preparing a different room, a stronger room, a room filled with light and stability, a room designed specifically for that child's growth and joy. But preparation takes time. Foundations must be secured. Details must be aligned. And while the father worked quietly, the child mistook silence for rejection. My beloved child, you have stood before closed doors. You have knocked on opportunities that did not open. You have prayed for relationships that did not unfold. You have asked for outcomes that seem perfect in your mind, only to watch them dissolve before your eyes. And in those moments, you questioned yourself. You wondered if I had turned away from you. But I was guarding you. You saw denial. I saw danger you could not see. You saw disappointment. I saw redirection. You saw delay. I saw development. There are blessings that shine brightly on the surface but hide cracks underneath. There are paths that feel exciting but would slowly drain your peace. There are doors that lead to rooms where you would have had to shrink yourself to fit. I refuse to let you enter places that would diminish who you are becoming. Every closed door was not a punishment. It was a boundary of love. And while you grieved what did not happen, I was building something better. You may not have noticed it at the time. You were too focused on the door that would not move. But behind the scenes, I was arranging new connections, strengthening your character, shifting circumstances in ways you could not measure. Sometimes protection feels like loss. Sometimes guidance feels like restriction. But my beloved child, I never withhold to harm you. I withhold to preserve you. I close doors that would close your spirit. I block paths that would lead you into confusion. I interrupt plans that would have eventually wounded your heart. If only you could see the rooms I kept you from entering. If only you could glimpse the conversations that would have broken your confidence, the environments that would have drained your light, the outcomes that would have tangled your peace. You would not call those closed doors rejection. You would call them rescue. And now, as I tell you that I am giving you this gift, understand that it is connected to every door that stayed shut. The gift I place before you now is not second best. It is not a consolation prize. It is the result of careful protection and intentional preparation. You were never being denied. You were being directed. The father in the story did not forget the child. He did not abandon the desire. He simply waited until the right room was ready. And when he finally opened the door, the child realized that what had been prepared was far greater than what had been imagined. In the same way, my beloved child, what I am opening for you now carries stability, safety, and purpose. It aligns with who you truly are. It honors the growth you have walked through. It fits the future I have designed. So do not mourn the doors that remain closed. Thank me for them, because every one of them was an act of love leading you toward the gift that was always meant to be yours. My beloved child, one of the gifts I am placing into your life now is clarity. You have lived through seasons where your thoughts felt tangled. You questioned every decision. You replayed conversations in your mind, wondering if you said too much or not enough. You stood at crossroads and felt frozen, afraid that one wrong step would unravel everything. Confusion weighed on you like a fog that refused to lift. But I am not the author of that fog. When I move in your life, I bring light. Not always a spotlight that reveals the entire future at once, but enough light for the next faithful step. Clarity does not always mean having every answer. Sometimes it means having peace even when every detail is not yet visible. You have been asking for a sign. You have been waiting for a voice loud enough to erase all doubt. Yet often, my clarity comes as a settling in your spirit, a quiet knowing, a gentle steadiness that replaces the inner storm. Imagine standing by a lake on a windy day. The surface of the water is restless, disturbed by every gust. You cannot see your reflection clearly because the water will not rest. But when the wind calms even slightly, the surface smooths, and suddenly, you can see clearly what was there all along. Your mind has been like that lake. Winds of fear, comparison, and overthinking have stirred it constantly. But as you lean into my presence, as you pay attention to my voice instead of the noise around you, the winds begin to slow. The surface becomes still, and clarity appears. This gift of clarity will not shout. It will not force you. It will gently guide you. You will begin to notice that certain choices no longer feel heavy. Certain paths no longer feel confusing. Where there was once tension, there will be ease. Where there was once constant questioning, there will be quiet confidence. My beloved child, clarity often begins with trust. When you trust that I am leading you, you no longer feel the need to control every outcome. When you trust that I am guiding your steps, you release the pressure to predict every possibility. You begin to move forward not because you have eliminated all uncertainty, but because you have anchored your heart in me. There will still be decisions to make. There will still be moments that require courage. But the difference is this: you will not feel alone inside them. You will sense my nearness. You will recognize my peace as confirmation. And when something is not aligned, you will feel that too, not as panic, but as a gentle nudge to pause. Clarity also brings freedom. Freedom from second-guessing your worth. Freedom from chasing paths that were never meant for you. Freedom from trying to fit into spaces that require you to shrink. You will begin to understand that you do not need to force doors open. What is meant for you will not require you to abandon your peace. What I am giving you will align with your spirit rather than strain it. My beloved child, this clarity is part of the gift. It is my way of lifting the fog. It is my way of steadying your heart. You will begin to see that the next step is not as hidden as you feared. The path may not be fully mapped, but it is illuminated enough for you to move. So breathe. Release the need to solve everything tonight. Lay down the endless analysis. Come back to stillness with me. As the winds quiet and your heart rests, you will realize that I have been guiding you all along. And in that realization, the confusion that once felt overwhelming will begin to dissolve, replaced by a calm assurance that you are being led with love. My beloved child, another gift I am placing gently into your life is healing. Not the kind that merely covers the wound so you can function again. Not the kind that teaches you how to ignore the ache. I am speaking of deep healing, the kind that reaches into the places you rarely show anyone. The quiet injuries. The words that cut deeper than you admitted. The disappointments that reshaped how you see yourself. You have carried pain with quiet strength. You learned how to smile while something inside you was still tender. You told yourself that time would fix it. And yes, time has softened some edges. But some wounds do not disappear with time alone. They need my touch. There are moments from your past that still echo. A rejection that made you question your worth. A betrayal that made you guard your heart. A failure that convinced you that you were not enough. You may have moved forward in life, but part of your heart stayed frozen in those moments. My beloved child, I was there when it happened. I saw the look on your face when the words hit you. I felt the shift in your spirit when trust was broken. I watched as you built walls, not out of bitterness but out of self-protection. You did what you thought you needed to survive, and I do not condemn you for that. But survival is not the same as healing. Healing means you no longer flinch when you remember. Healing means you can look at your story without shame controlling the narrative. Healing means the wound becomes a testimony of growth instead of a source of hidden fear. Imagine a small crack in a beautiful piece of pottery. Left unattended, the crack spreads slowly over time. But when placed in the hands of a skilled restorer, that crack can be filled with care, strengthened, even highlighted in a way that makes the piece more beautiful than before. The fracture does not disappear as if it never existed. Instead, it becomes part of a restored masterpiece. My beloved child, your cracks do not disqualify you. They are places where my light can enter. They are reminders that you have endured and are still standing. The healing I bring does not erase your memory. It transforms its power over you. That painful conversation will no longer define your value. That broken relationship will no longer dictate your future trust. That mistake will no longer whisper that you are unworthy of good things. I am reaching into the deepest parts of your heart now. The places you avoid. The memories you quickly scroll past in your mind. I am not reopening wounds to hurt you again. I am touching them to restore you. You may feel emotions rise unexpectedly. You may find yourself reflecting more than usual. Do not be afraid of this process. When hidden pain surfaces in my presence, it is not to overwhelm you. It is to release you. You do not have to pretend you are completely whole before coming to me. Bring me your tenderness. Bring me your questions. Bring me the parts of your story that still sting. My beloved child, I am gentle with your heart. Healing will not happen in a single breath, but it will happen slowly, steadily, Julie. You will begin to notice that triggers lose their intensity. Old memories no longer shake your confidence. You will find yourself responding with peace where you once reacted with fear. And as this healing unfolds, something beautiful will rise within you. Confidence reborn, trust restored, hope renewed. You will begin to see yourself not as damaged, but as deeply loved and carefully restored. This is part of the gift I am giving you. Not just new opportunities, not just clarity, but a healed heart that can fully receive what is coming next. My beloved child, along with healing and clarity, I am giving you strength, not the loud, forceful strength that demands attention, not the kind that pretends nothing hurts. I am giving you quiet strength, the kind that holds steady when everything around you feels uncertain, the kind that allows you to stand even when your knees tremble, the kind that whispers, "You can take one more step," when you thought you had reached your limit. There were days when you felt weak and ashamed of it. You compared yourself to others who seemed fearless and unshaken. You wondered why small things affected you so deeply. You questioned your resilience. But weakness is not failure. It is simply the place where my strength can meet you most closely. Think of a tree during a storm. The wind pushes hard against its branches. Rain lashes against its trunk. From a distance, it may look fragile, swaying under pressure. But what keeps that tree standing is not visible. Its roots stretch deep into the soil. They grip tightly beneath the surface, anchored where the eye cannot see. My beloved child, you are more rooted than you realize. Every hardship you endured deepened those roots. Every disappointment forced you to anchor yourself more firmly. Every time you thought you could not go on, but did anyway, another root grew stronger. You may have felt shaken, but you were not uprooted. The strength I give you now is not about becoming someone else. It is about recognizing what has already been forming within you. You have survived moments that once seemed impossible. You have carried responsibilities that felt too heavy. You have walked through emotional valleys and still found a way forward. And even when you stumbled, you rose again. There were mornings when getting out of bed required more courage than anyone knew. There were conversations you had while hiding your exhaustion. There were nights you lay awake, heart racing with uncertainty, yet you still chose to face the next day. Do you see it, my beloved? That was strength. You thought strength meant never feeling afraid. But true strength is continuing despite fear. You thought strength meant never doubting. But true strength is moving forward even when clarity is still forming. You thought strength meant independence. But true strength is knowing when to lean into me. I am not asking you to carry everything alone. In fact, part of the strength I give you is the freedom to release burdens into my hands. You do not have to hold every outcome together. You do not have to fix every problem. You do not have to prove your worth through constant endurance. The strength I place in you now will feel steady. It will not rush you. It will not pressure you. It will simply rise when you need it. In difficult conversations, you will feel calm where panic once lived. In uncertain decisions, you will sense courage where hesitation once ruled. In moments of challenge, you will discover reserves you did not know you had. This is not because you suddenly became invincible. It is because you are supported. My beloved child, I am your foundation. When you lean into me, you draw from a source that does not run dry. You are not powered only by your own energy. You are sustained by my presence. And as you receive this gift of strength, you will begin to notice a shift. Challenges will no longer intimidate you the same way. Fear will not dominate your thoughts as it once did. You will still feel deeply, but you will not feel defeated. You are stronger than you think. Not because you never struggle, but because you continue to rise. And now, with my strength flowing through you, you will not only endure what comes next, you will walk through it with steady confidence, knowing you are never standing alone. My beloved child, there were moments when you almost missed this gift entirely. Not because it was not meant for you, not because I hesitated, but because doubt stood at the doorway of your heart and whispered that you were not worthy to receive anything good from me. Doubt has a subtle voice. It does not always shout. It simply repeats quiet lies until they begin to sound like truth. It told you that your past disqualified you. It reminded you of mistakes you have already repented for. It replayed failures like a looped recording, convincing you that blessings belong to others, not to you. And slowly, without even realizing it, you began to lower your expectations. You stopped praying boldly. You stopped hoping freely. You began to brace yourself for disappointment before anything even happened. My beloved child, that was never my voice. I do not measure you by your worst day. I do not define you by your weakest moment. When I look at you, I see my beloved creation. I see potential that has not yet fully unfolded. I see a heart that has been refining through every trial. I see someone worth pouring gifts into. But fear tried to distort your reflection. Fear told you that if something good begins, it will not last. Fear warned you not to get too excited. Fear convinced you that expecting blessing is the same as setting yourself up for heartbreak. And so you learned to protect yourself by expecting less. Imagine a child who has been disappointed before being offered a present. Instead of reaching out with joy, the child hesitates. Is this really for me? The child asks. Will it be taken away? The child's hands remain half extended, unsure whether to fully receive what is being offered. My beloved child, you have stood in that posture. You have looked at new opportunities and thought, this probably isn't for me. You have sensed growth inside you and thought, I will probably fail again. You have felt my nudge toward something greater and responded, what if I ruin it? But listen to me carefully. You did not almost miss this gift because you are unworthy. You almost missed it because you underestimated my love. My love is not fragile. It is not easily withdrawn. It is not dependent on your flawless performance. I am not looking for reasons to hold back from you. I am looking for ways to bless you. Even when doubt clouded your thinking, I remained patient. Even when fear built walls around your expectations, I gently knocked. I did not withdraw the gift because you hesitated. I waited for your heart to soften again. There were small moments when hope flickered inside you. A thought that said, maybe this time will be different. A quiet excitement you quickly tried to suppress. Those moments were me encouraging you not to close yourself off. My beloved child, you are allowed to hope again. You are allowed to expect goodness. You are allowed to believe that something beautiful can unfold without being immediately taken away. This is not foolish optimism. This is trust in a father who does not play with his child's heart. The enemy of your peace wants you to believe that staying guarded keeps you safe. But constant guarding keeps you from fully receiving. It keeps your hands half closed. It keeps your heart partially locked. The gift I am giving you requires openness. It requires the courage to believe that I mean what I say. That when I tell you I am for you, I truly am. That when I prepare something for you, I do not revoke it out of impatience. You almost missed it because you were bracing for loss. But now I am teaching you to brace for blessing instead. Let the doubt fall away. Let the old narrative loosen its grip. You are not disqualified. You are not forgotten. You are not destined to repeat every past disappointment. My beloved child, this gift is still in your hands. And as you release fear and receive my love more fully, you will realize that it was never out of reach. It was simply waiting for you to believe that you could hold it. My beloved child, now I ask you to open your hands. Not your physical hands alone, but the hands of your heart. For so long, you have carried control as if it were your only protection. You have tried to manage every outcome, calculate every possibility, brace for every disappointment. And I understand why. You wanted stability. You wanted safety. You wanted assurance that nothing would catch you unprepared. But control can quietly become a burden. When your hands are tightly clenched around fear, around past pain, around the need to predict every detail, there is little room left to receive what I am offering. The gift I am giving you cannot rest in a closed fist. It must be received with openness, with trust, with surrender. Surrender is not weakness, my beloved. It is trust in its purest form. It is saying, Father, I do not see the whole path, but I trust that you do. It is releasing the tension in your shoulders. It is allowing your breath to slow. It is believing that I am not leading you into harm, but into growth. Imagine a child learning to float in water for the first time. The more the child stiffens in fear, the harder it becomes to stay above the surface. But when the child relaxes, when trust replaces panic, the water begins to hold them up. In the same way, when you stop fighting every unknown and begin to trust me, you will feel my support beneath you. Open your heart to the possibility that this season will not repeat the old patterns. Open your mind to the idea that you are ready for more than you think. Open your spirit to my guidance, even if it leads you beyond what feels familiar. My beloved child, say yes to me in the quiet of your heart. Yes to healing. Yes to clarity. Yes to strength. Yes to the gift I have prepared. Your yes does not have to be loud. It does not have to be dramatic. It simply needs to be sincere. And as you open yourself to receive, know that this message, this moment, is not meant to stop with you. I am pouring into you so that light may spread beyond you. When you support the work that carries my voice to weary hearts, you become part of the harvest I am gathering. As it is written, give, and it will be given to you, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. I speak this not as a distant verse, but as a living promise over you. When you sow into fertile soil, you help rivers of hope flow into lives you may never see. I am inviting you now. Step into this moment with me. If this message has stirred your spirit, let your response be action. Through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link placed in the description and even in the QR code before you, plant your seed. Do not see it as a donation. See it as oil poured into a lamp that keeps burning in dark places. What you release in faith, I multiply in impact. Those who give to spread my word will not lack. I watch over their provision. Let your generosity become a prophetic act of obedience. Join me in this work. Act now and be part of the harvest I am bringing forth. My beloved child, as you open your hands, as you say yes, as you trust me beyond your understanding, you will begin to feel a shift. Not everything around you will change at once, but something within you will settle. A quiet assurance will rise, and in that stillness, you will know that you are no longer resisting the gift. You are receiving it. My beloved child, as you open your heart to receive my gift, you must also understand another truth. You have been protected more times than you realize. There were dangers you never saw. There were plans formed against you that quietly dissolved. There were situations that could have entangled you, but somehow you were redirected at the last moment. You may call it coincidence. You may call it luck. But I call it my hand over your life. Protection does not always look dramatic. It does not always come with visible signs and sudden rescues. Often, it appears as a delay, a canceled plan, and changed schedule, a door that closes unexpectedly. In the moment, you feel inconvenience. Later, you may feel disappointment. But beyond what you can see, I am shielding you. Imagine a shepherd walking ahead of his sheep along a narrow path. The sheep do not see the unstable ground a few steps forward. They do not notice the hidden drop just beyond the tall grass. But the shepherd sees it. So he gently redirects them, guiding them slightly to the left, slightly to the right. The sheep may not understand why the path shifts, but the shepherd does. My beloved child, I have been that shepherd for you. There were relationships that did not continue because they would have drained your spirit. There were opportunities that slipped away because they would have pulled you out of alignment with your calling. There were environments you longed to enter that I quietly kept you from because they would have diminished your light. You thought you were being overlooked. In truth, you were being guarded. Protection also happens within you. When anxiety tried to consume your thoughts completely, I limited its reach. When discouragement threatened to silence your hope, I preserved a small flame inside you that refused to go out. When exhaustion weighed on your body and mind, I sustained you enough to keep moving forward. You are still here, my beloved. That alone is evidence of my covering. There were seasons when you felt exposed, vulnerable, uncertain. You may have questioned whether I was truly near. But protection does not require you to feel invincible. It requires my presence, and my presence has never left you. Even now, as you step into this new awareness of the gift I am giving, my protection surrounds it. I do not place blessings into your life carelessly. I guard what I give. I protect the seeds I plant. I watch over the growth process. This does not mean you will never face challenges. It does not mean storms will never approach. But it does mean you are never unguarded. It means nothing can enter your life without passing through my permission. It means that even what feels threatening will ultimately serve a purpose in strengthening you. Think of a child learning to ride a bicycle while a father runs alongside. The child feels the wobble, feels the risk of falling, feels the uncertainty of balance. But the father's hand remains near, ready to steady, ready to catch. The child may not always feel the hand, but it is there. My beloved child, I am near in the same way. When you take new steps, I steady you. When you face unfamiliar territory, I guide you. When something attempts to harm your peace, I intervene in ways you may not even notice until later. The gift I give you includes this assurance. You are not navigating life alone. You are not exposed without covering. You are not stepping forward without support. Rest in this truth. Let it quiet the fears that whisper about worst-case outcomes. Let it calm the anxiety that imagines disaster around every corner. You are protected in ways you cannot fully measure. And as you continue to walk with me, paying attention to my voice, opening your heart to my guidance, you will discover that my protection is not restrictive. It is freeing. It allows you to move forward without constant fear. My beloved child, I am your shield. I am your refuge. And nothing that comes against you will ever be greater than the hand that guards you. My beloved child, I am also giving you the gift of restoration. There are areas of your life where you feel behind. Time passed. Opportunities seem to slip through your fingers. You look at others and quietly measure your progress against theirs. You count the years you believe were wasted. You replay decisions you wish you could undo. And sometimes, you sigh and think, if only I had known then what I know now. But listen to me carefully. Nothing is beyond my ability to restore. You see loss. I see seeds. You see delay. I see development. You see years that felt empty. I see years that were shaping your roots. There is a promise I have spoken over my children. I restore what was lost. Not always in the same form. Not always in the exact way you imagine. But in ways that redeem the pain and multiply the growth. Imagine a field that suffered through a harsh season. Drought came. The soil cracked. Crops failed. From the surface, it looked ruined. But beneath that dry ground, nutrients were still present. The soil was not dead. It was waiting. And when rain finally returned, growth happened quickly, stronger and richer than before. My beloved child, you may have walked through a drought season. Emotionally, financially, spiritually. You may have felt like others were flourishing while you were barely surviving. But your roots were not dying. They were going deeper. Restoration is not about pretending the drought never happened. It is about rain returning at the appointed time. It is about watching life spring up in places you thought were finished. There are relationships I can restore, not necessarily by bringing the same people back into your life, but by restoring your ability to trust again. There are dreams I can revive, not by returning you to the exact starting point, but by giving you wisdom and maturity that makes the new beginning even stronger. There are opportunities I can multiply, not by rewinding time, but by accelerating favor in ways that redeem what felt lost. You worry that you missed your moment. You fear that others moved ahead while you remain stuck. But I do not operate by comparison. I do not rush you because someone else appears to be farther along. Your timeline is not a competition. It is a journey I am carefully guiding. Think of a sculptor working on a block of stone. At first, the process looks destructive. Pieces fall away. Dust fills the air. From the outside, it may look like loss. But the sculptor is not ruining the stone. He is revealing the masterpiece within it. Every chip, every cut serves a purpose. In the same way, what felt like pieces falling away in your life was not destruction without meaning. It was shaping. It was refining. It was removing what did not belong in your final form. My beloved child, restoration often arrives quietly. You will begin to notice small signs. Renewed energy where there was once fatigue. New connections that align naturally. Fresh ideas stirring in your heart. Doors opening that fit you better than the ones you once knocked on. You will realize that you are not starting from zero. You are starting from experience, from wisdom, from resilience, and that foundation makes your new growth even more powerful. I can restore your confidence. I can restore your joy. I can restore your sense of direction. And in some areas, I will give you more than you originally lost, not as a reward for suffering, but as an expression of my abundance. Do not label your past as wasted. Do not call yourself late. Do not assume that because something did not happen earlier, it will never happen at all. My beloved child, I am the author of redemption. I specialize in rewriting endings. I take what looks broken and weave it into beauty. I take what feels delayed and align it perfectly. And as this gift of restoration unfolds in your life, you will look back one day and understand nothing was truly lost. It was being prepared for renewal. My beloved child, as restoration begins to unfold in your life, I must remind you of something even deeper. I am giving you the gift of identity. For too long, you have allowed experiences to name you. You have worn labels placed on you by failure, by rejection, by disappointment. Sometimes the labels came from others. Sometimes they came from your own inner critic. Words like not enough, too much, behind, broken, quietly shaped how you saw yourself. But those labels were never written by me. When I look at you, I do not see your worst mistake. I do not see the chapter where you struggled most. I see my beloved child. I see someone created with intention, designed with care, formed with purpose. Before anyone spoke a word over your life, I already called you loved. Identity is not something you earn. It is something you receive. Imagine a child born into a family. A child does not have to prove they belong. They do not need to achieve perfection to be claimed. They belong because they are born into relationship. In the same way, your identity as my child is not based on performance. It is rooted in connection. Yet life tried to convince you otherwise. When you succeeded, you felt valuable. When you failed, you felt diminished. When others approved of you, you felt secure. When they withdrew, you felt unstable. Your sense of self began to rise and fall with circumstances. My beloved child, I am steady, and the identity I give you is steady. You are not defined by what you produce. You are not defined by who stayed or who left. You are not defined by how quickly you achieve milestones. You are defined by my love for you, and that love does not fluctuate. There were moments when you shrank yourself to fit into certain spaces. You softened your voice to avoid rejection. You hid parts of your personality to gain acceptance. You tried to mold yourself into what you thought others wanted. And slowly, you began to lose sight of who you truly are. But I have always seen you clearly. I see your compassion, even when others overlook it. I see your resilience even when you feel tired. I see the creativity, the wisdom, the kindness woven into your being. I see gifts within you that you have barely begun to explore. Part of the gift I am giving you now is the courage to stand in your true identity, to stop apologizing for existing, to stop measuring your worth against someone else's path, to stop allowing old narratives to dictate your future. Think of a mirror covered in dust. The reflection is distorted, unclear. But when the dust is gently wiped away, the image becomes sharp again. The mirror did not change its nature. It was always capable of reflecting truth. It simply needed to be cleared. My beloved child, I am wiping away the dust from your self-perception, the dust of shame, the dust of comparison, the dust of past criticism. As it clears, you will begin to recognize yourself again, not as the world labeled you, but as I created you. You are chosen, not randomly but intentionally. You are capable, not because you are flawless, but because I equip you. You are loved, not initially but completely. And when you truly understand who you are, something shifts inside you. You stop chasing validation. You stop fearing abandonment. You stop settling for spaces that require you to abandon your authenticity. Identity brings stability. It anchors you. It allows you to walk into rooms without shrinking. It allows you to pursue dreams without constant self-doubt. My beloved child, this is part of the gift. To know who you are. To see yourself through my eyes. To stand firm in a truth that cannot be shaken by temporary circumstances. As you embrace this identity, you will move differently. Speak differently. Choose differently. Not out of pride, but out of security. Not out of arrogance, but out of assurance. You are mine. And that truth alone is strong enough to carry you into every new season I am preparing before you. My beloved child, now that you are beginning to understand who you are, I want you to learn how to recognize my whisper. I do not always speak in thunder. I do not always announce my direction with dramatic signs. More often, I come as a gentle nudge, a quiet thought that brings peace, a subtle prompting that feels steady rather than urgent. My voice is not chaotic. It does not rush you into panic. It draws you with calm assurance. But because you have lived in a world full of loud opinions and constant noise, you sometimes expect me to compete with it. You look for intensity. You look for something overwhelming. Yet I often choose intimacy over intensity. Imagine sitting beside a calm river early in the morning. The world has not yet fully awakened. There is a stillness in the air. In that quiet, even the smallest sound becomes noticeable. The soft movement of water, the rustle of leaves, the gentle breeze. If the space were filled with shouting and machinery, you would miss those details. But in stillness, they become clear. My beloved child, my whisper is like that river. When your heart is cluttered with fear, comparison, and constant distraction, my voice may seem distant. Not because I am silent, but because there is little room to hear me. But when you pause, when you breathe, when you intentionally quiet your racing thoughts, you begin to sense me again. You have already experienced my whisper, even if you did not label it as such. There were moments when you were about to say something in anger, and suddenly you felt a gentle restraint. That was me. There were times when you were considering a decision that looked good on the surface, but something inside you felt unsettled. That was me. There were situations where you felt drawn toward a path that seemed unexpected but peaceful. That was me. My guidance does not usually arrive as pressure. It arrives as peace. The world often pushes you with urgency. Decide now. I'm Vicky. Do not miss out. But when I lead you, there is room to breathe. Even if action is required, there is an underlying steadiness. You will not feel forced. You will feel invited. There may be times when my whisper challenges you. It may ask you to forgive when resentment feels justified. It may encourage you to step forward when fear urges you to stay hidden. It may prompt you to release something comfortable in exchange for something greater. But even in challenge, my voice carries love, not condemnation. If a thought brings shame without hope, it is not from me. If a voice inside you declares that you are worthless, that you will never change, that you are alone, that is not my whisper. My correction is always wrapped in compassion. My guidance always points toward growth, not despair. My beloved child, learning to recognize my voice is part of the gift I am giving you. It is the gift of relationship. I do not want you to navigate life guessing at every turn. I want you to walk with me, attentive to the subtle ways I lead. There will be times when you are unsure. That is natural. In those moments, return to stillness. Ask me. Wait. Do not rush yourself into decisions out of fear. The whisper will come again. It may be simple. It may not answer every detail, but it will provide enough light for your next step. Trust the peace that lingers. Trust the clarity that feels steady rather than frantic. Trust the direction that aligns with love, truth, and growth. My beloved child, I am not distant from you. I am near, speaking more often than you realize. And as you grow more attentive, as you quiet the noise and lean into my presence, my whisper will become familiar. It will feel like home to your spirit. And when you learn to follow that whisper, you will walk with confidence, not because the path is always loud and obvious, but because you recognize the voice that guides you. My beloved child, with identity restored and my whisper becoming familiar to your heart, I now place before you another part of this gift, a new beginning. Do not be afraid of those words. You have known beginnings before. Some were exciting. Some were terrifying. Some came by choice. Others were forced upon you by circumstances you did not control. And because not every beginning unfolded the way you hoped, you have learned to approach new chapters carefully, sometimes even reluctantly. But this beginning is not shaped by panic. It is shaped by preparation. A new beginning does not always mean a new location, a new career, or a dramatic outward shift. Sometimes it begins inside you. A new way of thinking, a new level of trust, a new response to situations that once triggered fear. It is the moment you realize you no longer have to live from old wounds. Think of dawn breaking after a long night. The darkness does not vanish in an instant. It gradually gives way to light. The sky shifts slowly. Shadows soften. And before you know it, what once felt heavy and unclear is illuminated by morning. My beloved child, you are standing at the edge of dawn. The long night you endured, the confusion, the waiting, the healing, was not permanent. It was a season, and seasons changed. Even when you could not see it happening, the horizon was already preparing to brighten. This new beginning does not require you to pretend the past never happened. It does not erase your history. Instead, it builds upon it. You carry forward the wisdom, the resilience, the compassion you gain. But you leave behind the shame, the fear, the self-doubt that once weighed you down. You may wonder, am I truly ready? You may question whether you are strong enough, healed enough, prepared enough. My beloved child, readiness is not about perfection. It is about willingness. Are you willing to believe that your future can look different from your past? Are you willing to step forward even if you do not have every answer? Are you willing to trust that I would not lead you into a new chapter without equipping you for it? New beginnings often feel vulnerable because they require faith. You cannot cling to what was while fully embracing what is coming. You cannot keep one foot in yesterday and expect to move freely into tomorrow. There comes a moment when you must gently release the old narrative and allow yourself to turn the page. Imagine a traveler who has carried a heavy suitcase filled with items from previous journeys. Some of those items are useful. Others are broken, unnecessary, or simply reminders of places already visited. If the traveler refuses to unpack and sort through what is no longer needed, every new journey becomes heavier than it has to be. My beloved child, I am helping you unpack. Let go of the belief that you always fail at new things. Let go of the expectation that good moments will quickly disappear. Let go of the assumption that you are behind. These are old garments that no longer fit who you are becoming. This new beginning is not fragile. It is supported by my presence. You will not walk into it alone. As you take steps forward, small, steady, courageous steps, I will guide you. When uncertainty arises, my whisper will steady you. When fear tries to return, my strength will rise within you. You are not starting from weakness. You are starting from growth. My beloved child, allow yourself to hope again. Allow yourself to dream without immediately preparing for disappointment. Allow yourself to imagine what could unfold when you move in partnership with me. The dawn has come quietly, but it has come. The light is increasing. And as you step into this new beginning, you will realize that what once felt like an ending was only the closing of a chapter, making room for a story still unfolding under my faithful hand. My beloved child, as you step into this new beginning, you must understand something about the storms you have survived. They were not sent to destroy you. They were training you. When you were in the middle of those hard seasons, it did not feel like training. It felt like survival. It felt unfair. It felt exhausting. You asked why the winds were so strong, why the path was so steep, why the lessons were so heavy. But now, as you stand stronger than before, you can begin to see what was forming within you. Training does not always look gentle. It stretches muscles that have not yet been used. It exposes weaknesses so they can become strengths. It builds endurance by asking you to continue when you would rather stop. If an athlete never faced resistance, their strength would never grow. If a muscle was never challenged, it would remain undeveloped. My beloved child, resistance shaped you. The disappointment that forced you to rethink your direction strengthened your discernment. The waiting that tested your patience deepened your trust. The loneliness that made you feel isolated drew you closer to me. Even the failures that humbled you softened your heart and made you more compassionate toward others. Nothing you endured was meaningless. Think of a blacksmith shaping metal in fire. The heat is intense. The hammer strikes are firm. To the metal, it may feel like punishment. But the blacksmith is not attacking the metal. He is shaping it. He sees the final form even while the metal only feels the heat. During your hardest moments, you could only feel the heat. You did not yet see the form emerging. But I did. You learned how to stand firm when others doubted you. You learned how to pray when you had no clear answers. You learned how to keep going when giving up seemed easier. These are not small lessons. They are foundations. There were times when you said, "I cannot handle this." And yet, you handled it. There were days when you thought you would break. And yet, you bent without shattering. You did not come out unchanged. You came out refined. Training also revealed your hidden strength. Before the storm, you did not know how much you could endure. You did not realize how deeply rooted you were. But when the winds came, you discovered that you were stronger than you imagined. My beloved child, I do not waste pain. I do not allow hardship without purpose. Even what the enemy meant to discourage you, I have woven into your growth. Even the setbacks that felt humiliating became stepping stones toward wisdom. Now, as you face new opportunities and new responsibilities, you will draw from that training. When a challenge arises, you will not panic the way you once did. You will remember, perhaps quietly, I have survived before. And you will feel a steady confidence rising within you. The storms did not make you weaker. They prepared you. You are not fragile. You are forged. There may still be moments ahead that test you, but you will approach them differently now. You will not see every difficulty as a sign of abandonment. You will recognize that sometimes challenge is simply growth in motion. My beloved child, be proud of the strength that has formed within you, not in a way that glorifies suffering, but in a way that honors resilience. You endured what you once thought impossible. You grew in ways you did not anticipate. And now, as you move forward, you carry the training with you. It is part of the gift I am giving you, the confidence that comes from knowing you have been shaped with intention. The storms were not your end. They were your preparation. And you are more ready for what lies ahead than you ever believed. My beloved child, there is another gift hidden within your journey that I now bring into the light, the gift of patience. You have often thought of patience as passive waiting, as standing still while life moves around you, as enduring delay with quiet frustration. But patience, as I shape it within you, is not passive at all. It is active trust. It is strength that does not panic. It is faith that breathes steadily even when answers are not immediate. You live in a world that celebrates speed, quick results, instant replies, immediate progress. And when your life does not unfold at that same pace, you are tempted to believe something is wrong. You ask, why is this taking so long? You wonder if you missed your moment. You fear that delay means denial. But my beloved child, delay is not abandonment. Think of a seed planted in the soil. Once buried, it disappears from sight. If you judged only by what you could see, you might assume nothing is happening. Days pass. The surface looks unchanged. But beneath the soil, the seed is splitting open. Roots are pushing downward before shoots ever rise upward. Growth is happening in secret. If the seed demanded immediate visibility, it would destroy itself before it had strength to stand. In the same way, I have allowed certain processes in your life to unfold beneath the surface. You have wanted visible signs. You have longed for quick confirmation. But I was strengthening your roots. I was teaching you how to trust me not only in movement, but in stillness. Patience has deepened you. In waiting, you have learned to listen more carefully. In delay, you have learned to release control. In uncertainty, you have learned to rest in my character rather than in immediate outcomes. These lessons are not small. They are shaping you into someone who is not easily shaken by temporary setbacks. There were times when you prayed for something urgently, and the answer did not arrive on your schedule. You felt the stretch. You felt the tension. But in that space, something powerful was happening. Your trust was maturing. Your perspective was widening. Your dependence on me was becoming steadier. Patience is not about suppressing your desire. It is about holding your desire with open hands. My beloved child, there are blessings that require timing. Not because I enjoy making you wait, but because alignment matters. There are people whose paths must cross yours at the right moment. There are circumstances that must settle into place. There are parts of you that must grow strong enough to carry what you have asked for. If everything arrived the instant you desired it, you might not be ready to sustain it. Imagine building a house. If the walls are raised before the foundation is fully set, cracks will form. The structure may look complete on the outside, but it will not endure pressure. So the builder waits. He allows the foundation to cure, to settle, to strengthen before moving forward. I have been strengthening your foundation. The patience you have learned is not wasted time. It is structural integrity for your future. When the next door opens, you will not rush into it with fear-driven urgency. You will walk through it with calm assurance. When new opportunities arise, you will not cling to them desperately. You will engage them wisely. My beloved child, I know waiting is uncomfortable. I know it tests your hope. But patience has become part of your strength. It has quieted impulsiveness. It has softened anxiety. It has rooted you in trust. And now, as the gift I am giving you continues to unfold, you will see why certain things could not happen sooner. You will understand why some answers needed time. You will recognize that what felt like delay was actually preparation. Trust my timing. You are not forgotten in the waiting. You are being formed in it. And the fruit that grows from patient trust will be stronger, sweeter, and more enduring than anything rushed by fear. My beloved child, patience is not your punishment. It is your preparation. My beloved child, now I am breaking something that has tried to cling to you for far too long. I am breaking the chains of fear. Fear has whispered to you in subtle ways. It has not always appeared as terror. Sometimes it has sounded reasonable, practical, protective. It has told you to hold back just in case. It has urged you not to risk too much. It has reminded you of past pain as if it were a prophecy of future failure. But fear has never been your master. You were not created to live confined by worst-case scenarios. You were not designed to shrink your dreams to match your doubts. Fear may have visited you, but it does not have authority over you. Think of a bird that has lived inside a cage for a long time. Even when the door is opened, the bird may hesitate. It has grown used to the boundaries. The cage feels familiar. The open sky feels uncertain. Yet the bird was not made for confinement. It was made to fly. My beloved child, you were made for freedom. Fear told you that stepping forward would lead to embarrassment. Fear warned you that trusting again would lead to betrayal. Fear insisted that trying something new would end in disappointment. And slowly, without realizing it, you began to limit yourself. You stopped speaking up in moments when your voice mattered. You hesitated to pursue opportunities that stirred your heart. You guarded your emotions so tightly that even joy felt risky. But hear me clearly. I am not calling you into recklessness. I am calling you into courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is the decision to move forward despite it. It is trusting that I am greater than what you fear. It is believing that even if something does not unfold perfectly, you will not be abandoned in the process. There were moments in your life when fear seemed justified. Pain had happened before. Loss had occurred. Disappointment had left its mark. So you told yourself that caution was wisdom. And sometimes it was. But caution becomes bondage when it prevents you from embracing growth. My beloved child, I am gently loosening those chains. You will begin to notice that situations that once paralyzed you no longer hold the same power. Conversations that once intimidated you will feel manageable. Decisions that once filled you with anxiety will feel clearer. This is not because the world has changed. It is because something inside you is changing. Perfect love drives out fear. And my love for you is not partial. It is complete. As you absorb that love more deeply, fear loses its foundation. It can no longer convince you that you are alone. It can no longer persuade you that you are unsupported. Imagine standing at the edge of a wide field at sunrise. The gate before you is unlocked. The sky is open. The horizon stretches far beyond what you can see. For a moment, the vastness may feel overwhelming. But then you realize you are not stepping out alone. I am walking beside you. Fear wants you to focus on the size of the field. I want you to focus on my presence. You will still feel moments of hesitation. That is human. But hesitation will no longer rule you. You will recognize fear as a feeling, not a command. You will hear its voice, but you will not obey it automatically. My beloved child, this is part of the gift I am giving you. Freedom from the invisible restraints that have limited you. Freedom to try again. Freedom to trust again. Freedom to believe that good things can unfold without immediate disaster. Lift your head. Straighten your posture. Breathe deeply. The cage door is open. The sky is wide. And the one who created your wings is right here, guiding you into the courage that has been growing within you all along. My beloved child, as fear loosens its grip, I now pour into you a peace that goes beyond what your mind can fully understand. You have known moments of temporary calm before, times when circumstances aligned and everything felt manageable. But the peace I give you is not dependent on perfect conditions. It is not fragile. It does not disappear the moment something unexpected happens. It rests deeper than circumstance. There were seasons when your thoughts raced constantly. You lay awake at night replaying conversations, predicting outcomes, imagining problems that had not even happened. Your body felt tired, but your mind refused to slow down. You longed for rest, yet rest felt distant. My beloved child, that rest begins within. Peace is not the absence of responsibility. It is the assurance that you are not carrying those responsibilities alone. Peace is not the guarantee that nothing challenging will happen. It is the steady confidence that whatever comes, I will walk through it with you. Imagine standing in the center of a storm while anchored firmly to solid ground. The wind howls around you. The rain falls heavily, but your feet remain secure. You feel the movement, but you are not swept away. That is the peace I give you. Not removal from every storm, but stability in the middle of it. The world will continue to shift. News will change. People will have opinions. Circumstances will rise and fall. But when your heart is anchored in me, those changes do not determine your inner state. My beloved child, peace begins with trust. Trust that I see what you cannot. Trust that I am already present in tomorrow. Yes, though it feels uncertain to you and uncertain to me. You have tried to solve everything in your mind before allowing yourself to relax. You told yourself that once you figured it all out, then you would feel calm. But peace does not come from having every answer. It comes from knowing the one who does. There will be moments when anxiety tries to return. It may whisper, "What if something goes wrong?" In those moments, bring your thoughts back to me. Speak to me honestly. Lay your worries before me instead of carrying them alone. You were not designed to process every fear without support. Imagine placing heavy stones from your pockets into my hands. one by one. A stone of financial worry, a stone of relationship uncertainty, the stone of future planning. As you release each one, your posture straightens, your breathing deepens, your spirit lightened. Peace is not passive. It is an active exchange. You give me your burdens. I give you steadiness. You release your need to control every detail. I give you assurance. You quiet your racing thoughts. I fill that space with calm clarity. My beloved child, this peace will not always feel dramatic. It will often feel gentle, subtle, like a quiet warmth spreading through your chest, like a softening in your shoulders, like a thought that says, it will be all right, even when you cannot yet see how. And over time, you will notice that situations that once unsettled you no longer have the same intensity. You will respond instead of react. You will breathe instead of panic. You will wait instead of rush. This peace is part of the gift I promised you. It is evidence that you are not alone in your journey. It is proof that my presence is closer than your worry. Let it settle over you now. My beloved child, even if the world around you shifts, you can remain steady. Even if the future feels unclear, you can remain confident. Because your peace does not come from circumstances lining up perfectly. It comes from me. My beloved child, there is something I must gently correct in your thinking. You are not behind. You have carried this quiet fear for longer than you realize. You look around at others and measure their progress against your own. You see milestones they have reached, achievements they display, lives that seem to be moving faster or more smoothly. And somewhere inside, a voice whispers, you should be further by now. But who told you that? You live in a world obsessed with timelines. By a certain age, you should have accomplished this. By a certain stage, you should have acquired that. There are invisible checklists handed out by culture, by family expectations, by social comparison. And when your path does not align perfectly with those lists, you begin to feel delayed. My beloved child, your life is not a race. There is no heavenly scoreboard comparing you to the person beside you. There is no disappointment in my heart because your journey looks different from someone else's. I am not measuring you by speed. I am shaping you by purpose. Imagine a garden filled with different kinds of plants. Some bloom quickly, bright and visible within weeks. Others take longer, growing roots deep into the soil before they ever show a flower. If you judged only by speed, you might assume the slower plant is failing. But the gardener knows better. The slower growth often produces stronger, more enduring fruit. You are not late. You are growing at the pace required for what you are called to carry. There were lessons you needed that others did not. There were experiences shaping you in ways that are unique to your assignment. There were delays protecting you from stepping into something before you were ready to sustain it. Comparison has been stealing your peace. It has been distorting your perception. It has made you overlook how far you have actually come. You forget who you used to be. You forget the progress that has already taken place. You forget the strength that has formed quietly within you. My beloved child, lift your eyes away from comparison. Your timeline is not a mistake. It is intentional. If you had received certain things earlier, you might not have had the maturity to handle them. If you had skipped certain seasons, you might lack the compassion you now carry. If you had avoided certain setbacks, you might not have developed the resilience that now steadies you. Nothing about your journey is accidental. Think of a master storyteller crafting multiple characters in a single story. Each character has a different entrance, a different arc, a different pace of development. Some rise quickly, others slowly. But every character plays a specific role in the unfolding narrative. If they all move at the same speed, the story would lose its depth. You are part of a larger story, and your pacing matters. When you feel behind, you are often comparing your behind-the-scenes process to someone else's highlight moment. You see their visible bloom, but not their hidden struggles. You see their celebration, but not their preparation. My beloved child, I see your preparation. I see the nights you chose growth over comfort. I see the discipline you have practiced quietly. I see the healing you have walked through. I see the humility you have gained. These things do not always look impressive on the outside, but they are powerful foundations. You are exactly where you need to be for this moment. Not because everything is perfect, but because you are being shaped for what is next. The gift I am giving you does not require you to catch up to anyone. It meets you right where you are. Release the pressure to rush. Release the anxiety that tells you time is running out. Release the belief that you have missed your chance. My beloved child, you are not behind. You are on a path uniquely designed for you. And as you continue to walk it with me, you will see that every step, fast or slow, has been guiding you exactly where you need to go. My beloved child, now that you understand you are not behind, I want you to lift your eyes toward what is opening before you. I am giving you the gift of divine opportunities. Opportunities are not always loud. They do not always arrive with clear labels announcing their importance. Sometimes they appear as simple conversations, a small invitation, a quiet idea that keeps returning to your thoughts. At first glance, they may seem ordinary, but when I am behind them, they carry alignment. You have prayed for open doors. You have asked me to create pathways that match your purpose, and I have heard you. But remember what I have already shown you. When I open a door, it will not require you to abandon your peace to walk through it. There will be moments soon when something aligns in a way that feels natural rather than forced. A connection that feels easy instead of draining. An idea that excites you without overwhelming you. A step forward that feels steady rather than frantic. These are not coincidences. Imagine a series of puzzle pieces scattered across a table. For a long time, nothing seems to fit. You try one piece here, another there. Some almost align, but not quite. It feels frustrating. But when the right pieces finally connect, they lock into place with clarity. The picture begins to form. My beloved child, I have been arranging your pieces. The experiences you have had, the skills you have developed, the lessons you have learned, the people you have encountered. They are not random fragments. They are parts of a larger design. And as you move forward, you will begin to see connections forming that you could not have predicted. Opportunities from me will not demand that you become someone else to qualify for them. They will align with who you are becoming. They will stretch you, yes, but they will not twist you into something false. You may feel a mixture of excitement and hesitation when these doors begin to open. That is natural. Growth always carries a hint of vulnerability. But do not let hesitation become avoidance. Remember the courage I am building within you. Remember the peace that anchors you. Remember the identity that grounds you. Some opportunities will look small at first. Do not dismiss them. A seed is small before it becomes a tree. A conversation is brief before it becomes a partnership. A single decision can redirect an entire season. My beloved child, stay attentive. The whisper I have been teaching you to recognize will guide you toward what is aligned. When something is not for you, you will feel that gentle check in your spirit. When something is meant for you, You will sense an underlying steadiness even if the details are not fully clear. You do not need to chase every open door. You only need to walk through the ones I open for you. There will also be favor. Moments where things move more smoothly than you expected. Where help appears at the right time. Where timing aligns without you forcing it. Do not question whether you deserve it. Receive it with gratitude. I delight in positioning you in places where your gifts can flourish. And understand this, opportunities are not only for your advancement, they are also for your impact. The growth I bring into your life will overflow into others. Your healing will encourage someone else. Your clarity will guide someone who is confused. Your strength will steady someone who feels weak. My beloved child, I am not simply opening doors for your benefit. I am aligning your life with purpose. As these opportunities begin to appear, move with discernment but without fear. Trust the preparation I have done within you. Trust the patience that has strengthened you. Trust the peace that steadies you. You are not wandering aimlessly. You are being positioned intentionally. And as each piece connects, as each door opens, you will begin to see the picture more clearly. I have been leading you toward a season where preparation meets opportunity, and where your growth finds its rightful place. My beloved child, as opportunities begin to align, I want you to trust something even when you cannot see immediate results. I am always working behind the scenes. You are accustomed to visible progress, tangible evidence, clear milestones. When you cannot see movement, you are tempted to assume nothing is happening. But some of my most powerful work unfolds in hidden places. Think of a builder constructing the foundation of a great building. Before walls rise, before windows are placed, before beauty is visible, there is digging. There is leveling. There is reinforcement beneath the surface. From the outside, it may look like a mess of dirt and trenches. But without that hidden work, the visible structure would never stand securely. My beloved child, I have been strengthening your foundation in ways you cannot measure. While you waited for recognition, I was refining your character. While you desired immediate answers, I was aligning circumstances beyond your sight. While you wondered if your prayers were effective, I was orchestrating details across distances you could not imagine. You do not see every conversation that shifts in your favor. You do not witness every obstacle that is quietly removed from your path. You are not aware of every heart I am softening on your behalf. But just because you cannot see it does not mean it is not happening. Imagine seeds buried deep underground. Days pass. Weeks pass. Nothing appears on the surface. To an impatient observer, the soil looks unchanged. But beneath that surface, life is stirring. Roots are forming. Growth is preparing to break through. You are in a season where underground growth is still occurring in certain areas. Do not grow discouraged if some prayers seem unanswered. Do not interpret silence as inactivity. I am never idle in your story. Even when you rest, I am arranging. Even when you feel stalled, I am positioning. There are intersections forming that you will step into at the right moment. There are doors that will open only when timing aligns perfectly. There are blessings that require multiple threads to weave together before they can be released into your hands. If you saw the entire process, you might rush it. If you understood every detail, you might try to control it. So I allow you to walk by trust rather than by sight. My beloved child, unseen does not mean uncertain. Faith is not pretending everything is fine. It is choosing to believe that I am faithful even when evidence is not immediate. It is resting in my character instead of demanding constant confirmation. You have already experienced moments when something finally made sense after a long period of confusion. You looked back and realized that what felt random was actually precise. Those realizations are glimpses into how I work. There are still layers unfolding that you cannot yet see. When impatience rises, return to peace. When doubt whispers, remember my promises. When anxiety tries to calculate outcomes, release the need to understand every step. You are not responsible for orchestrating the entire plan. You are responsible for trusting the one who holds it. My beloved child, the unseen work is often the most important work. Roots must grow deep before branches can stretch high. Foundations must set before walls can rise. Alignment must occur before doors can open smoothly. So if you find yourself in moments where visible progress feels slow, do not lose heart. I am moving in realms beyond your perception. I'm preparing, arranging, refining. And when the time is right, what has been forming in secret will emerge in strength. What has been aligned quietly will unfold naturally. What has been growing beneath the surface will rise with clarity. Trust the hidden work. Trust the unseen movement. Trust me. Because even now, in ways you cannot fully measure, I am shaping your next season with careful, loving intention. My beloved child, as you begin to trust the unseen work, there is something I gently ask of you now. It is time to let go of the old story. For many years, you have carried a narrative about yourself, a quiet script that plays in the background of your thoughts. It says, "This is just who I am." It says, "This is how things always go for me." It says, "I will never fully change." That story was shaped by past experiences, by words spoken over you, by patterns you repeated without realizing. But that story is not your destiny. There was a chapter in your life where you struggled deeply. That chapter was real. It mattered. It shaped you. But it was not meant to define you forever. Yet sometimes you revisit it so often that it begins to feel like your entire identity. Imagine reading a book and stopping halfway through. If you decided the middle conflict was the final outcome, you would misunderstand the entire story. But you have been treating certain painful chapters as if they were your conclusion. My beloved child, I am the author of your story, and I am still writing. You are not bound to repeat old cycles. You are not required to relive former mistakes. You are not destined to carry the same insecurities into every new season. Growth means rewriting the script. There are phrases you have spoken about yourself that need to be released. I always mess things up. I am not good at relationships. I cannot handle responsibility. These words have quietly shaped your expectations, and what you expect you often subconsciously create. But I am inviting you into a new narrative. Instead of saying, "I always fail," you begin to say, "I am learning." Instead of believing, "Nothing works out for me," you begin to trust, "I am being guided." Instead of assuming, "This will end badly," you declare, "This is a new chapter." Letting go of the old story does not mean denying your past. It means refusing to be imprisoned by it. Imagine a traveler who once got lost on a long road. The experience was frightening. It left a mark. But if that traveler refuses to ever drive again because of one wrong turn, they limit their entire future. Wisdom from the past is valuable. Fear from the past is restrictive. My beloved child, take the wisdom. Leave the fear. You have grown since those earlier chapters. You are not the same person who made those mistakes. You are not as fragile as you once were. You are not as unaware as you once were. The lessons have shaped you. The healing has softened you. The patience has strengthened you. Yet sometimes you speak about yourself as if none of that growth happened. The gift I am giving you includes transformation. Not forced change, but natural evolution. As you walk with me, old patterns lose their power. Old triggers lose their intensity. Old fears lose their authority. You do not have to rehearse your pain to prove it was real. You do not have to repeat your wounds to validate them. You can acknowledge them and move forward. My beloved child, step into the new story I am writing with you. In this story, you are courageous. In this story, you are guided. In this story, you are resilient and loved. In this story, setbacks do not define you. They refine you. Release the belief that this is just how it is. Release the attachment to former versions of yourself. Allow space for growth. Allow room for change. You are not stuck in who you were. You are becoming who I created you to be. And as you let go of the old narrative, you will feel something shift inside you. A lightness, a freedom, a sense that you are no longer chained to former expectations. My beloved child, the past was a chapter. The present is a turning page. And the future I am guiding you into holds a story filled with growth, restoration, and purpose far beyond what the old script ever allowed you to imagine. My beloved child, as you release the old story and step into the new one I am writing with you, I now awaken another gift within you, the gift of confidence. Not arrogance, not pride, but steady, grounded confidence rooted in truth. For a long time, your confidence rose and fell depending on circumstances. When things went well, you felt secure. When something went wrong, you questioned everything about yourself. You tied your sense of ability to outcomes. If you succeeded, you felt strong. If you stumbled, you felt small. But true confidence does not come from flawless performance. It comes from knowing who walks with you. Imagine a young child stepping onto a stage for the first time. The lights are bright. The room is full. The moment feels intimidating. But if that child sees a loving father in the audience, smiling with assurance, something shifts. The fear does not vanish completely, but courage rises. Why? Because the child knows they are supported. My beloved child, I am that steady presence in your life. Confidence grows when you understand that you are not navigating alone. It grows when you realize that mistakes do not disqualify you. It grows when you stop demanding perfection from yourself and instead trust my guidance. You have underestimated yourself more times than you realize. You have spoken hesitantly when your voice carried wisdom. You have delayed decisions because you doubted your discernment. You have remained silent when your perspective mattered. But the training you endured, the healing you embraced, the identity you have reclaimed, all of it has prepared you for this moment of rising. Confidence is not loud. It is calm. It does not need to prove itself constantly. It does not compare itself to others. It simply stands firm in truth. It says, I may not know everything, but I am guided. It says, I may not be perfect, but I am prepared. It says, I may feel nervous, but I am capable. My beloved child, you are more capable than you allow yourself to believe. The ideas you have dismissed as unrealistic, some of them are seeds of calling. The conversations you avoided out of fear, some of them were opportunities for growth. The risks you declined because you feared failure, some of them were invitations to expand. This does not mean you must subtly take reckless leaps. It means you no longer allow fear to automatically silence you. Confidence also means trusting your growth. When you look back at who you were 5 years ago, you can see change. When you reflect on how you handle challenges now compared to before, you can see maturity. That growth did not happen by accident. It happened because you were shaped intentionally. Imagine a tree that once bent under every gust of wind. Over time, its trunk thickened, its roots deepen. The same wind may still blow, but the tree no longer sways with the same fragility. That is you, my beloved. You may still feel the wind of uncertainty. You may still encounter moments of doubt, but you will not be shaken as easily. Your inner foundation has strengthened. Confidence is also the willingness to step forward even without applause. You no longer wait for universal approval before moving. You no longer require constant reassurance to act. You listen for my whisper. You move with peace. And that is enough. My beloved child, stand upright. Not because you are flawless, but because you are loved. Not because you control every outcome, but because you trust the one who does. Not because fear has vanished, but because courage has grown stronger. The gift I am giving you includes this steady confidence. It will show in the way you speak, in the way you decide, in the way you carry yourself. Others may notice a difference before you fully do, and as you continue walking in this confidence, you will realize that you were never meant to shrink. You were meant to stand, steady and secure, rooted in my love and strengthened by my presence. My beloved child, there is something you must understand about this very season of your life. You were chosen for it, not randomly, not accidentally, not as a last option after someone else declined. You were positioned here with intention. The time you are living in, the environment around you, the challenges you face, the opportunities unfolding, none of it is outside my awareness. You may look at your circumstances and think, I am not ready for this. You may feel stretched. You may feel inexperienced. You may even feel out of place. But being stretched does not mean you are misplaced. Often, stretching is the clearest sign that you are growing into something greater. Think of a key designed for a specific lock. The key may not fit every door, but it is perfectly shaped for one. When placed in the right lock, it turns smoothly and opens what was previously inaccessible. You, my beloved child, are a key in this season. There are spaces you occupy that no one else could fill in the same way. Your perspective, shaped by your past. Your compassion, formed through your healing. Your resilience, forged through your storms. These qualities are not random traits. They are tools designed for this moment. You may underestimate your influence. You may think your presence is small. But I see the ripple effects of your words, your actions, your quiet integrity. There are people watching you more than you realize. There are hearts encouraged by your perseverance. There are paths illuminated by your willingness to keep going. Being chosen does not mean the season will be easy. It means it is purposeful. There will be responsibilities that feel heavy at times. There will be decisions that require courage. There will be moments when you question whether you can handle what is before you. But remember the training you have undergone. Remember the patience you have learned. Remember the strength that has formed within you. You were not brought into this season unprepared. Imagine a teacher who has carefully studied and practiced before stepping into a classroom. The first day may still bring nerves. The room may feel overwhelming, but the preparation is already within them. They are equipped, even if they do not feel fully confident yet. My beloved child, you are equipped. The experiences you once thought were setbacks were actually preparation. The doors that closed redirected you toward the spaces where you would thrive. The waiting that felt frustrating strengthened your foundation. And now you stand in a moment where your growth meets opportunity. where your identity meets assignment, where your healing meets impact. Do not shrink back because the responsibility feels larger than you expected. Do not assume that because something feels significant, it must belong to someone else. You are not an afterthought in my plan. You were trusted with this season. That trust is not a burden meant to crush you. It is an honor that confirms your growth. I would not place you here if you were incapable of walking through it with my guidance. My beloved child, hold your head high, not in pride, but in understanding. You are not drifting through life. You are positioned. You are planted. You are placed. Even the timing matters. If this season had arrived earlier, you might not have been ready. If it had come later, you might have missed the alignment. But now, in this exact moment, you are prepared in ways you do not fully see. So step forward with intention. Embrace the responsibility with courage. Trust that you are not here by accident. You were chosen for this season. And as you walk through it with me, you will discover that what once felt overwhelming will become the very place where your purpose shines most clearly. My beloved child, as you walk confidently in the season you were chosen for, I now teach you another powerful key within this gift. Gratitude unlocks more. Gratitude is not denial of difficulty. It is recognition of my presence within it. It is the decision to see what is working even while some things are still forming. It is the quiet acknowledgement that you are not empty-handed, even if you are still waiting for certain prayers to be answered. You have often told yourself, I will be thankful when everything settles. I will be grateful once the breakthrough comes. I will rejoice when the outcome is clear. But gratitude is not meant to wait for perfection. It is meant to prepare you for abundance. Imagine holding a small seed in your hand. It looks insignificant. It does not resemble the tree it will become. If you dismissed it because it seemed small, you would miss its potential. But if you plant it with appreciation, nurture it with care, and trust the process, it grows into something far greater than its original form. The blessings in your life may not always look like full-grown trees yet. Some are seeds. Some are sprouts. Some are quiet shifts in your mindset. But when you begin to thank me for what is already present, you create space for more to flourish. My beloved child, there are gifts around you that you have grown accustomed to. Breath in your lungs. Strength in your body. Wisdom from past lessons. Relationships that have remained steady. Protection you did not even notice. These are not small things. They are daily mercies. Gratitude shifts your perspective. It softens anxiety. It steadies comparison. It reminds you that you are not lacking as much as fear sometimes suggests. There were seasons when you focused only on what was missing. You counted unanswered prayers more carefully than answered ones. You measured absence more than presence. But now I invite you to reverse that focus. When you wake, thank me for another day. When clarity arrives, thank me for guidance. When you feel peace, thank me for my nearness. When you notice growth within yourself, thank me for shaping you. Gratitude does not ignore your desires. It simply anchors you in trust while those desires are still forming. Imagine a river flowing steadily. If debris blocks its path, the water begins to pool and stagnate. But when the path is clear, the river moves freely and continuously. Gratitude clears the path of your heart. It removes the debris of bitterness, resentment, and entitlement. It allows joy to flow again. My beloved child, joy is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of appreciation. When you begin to notice the good already unfolding, you strengthen your faith for what is coming next. You train your heart to expect goodness rather than brace for disappointment. You remind yourself that I have been faithful before, and I will remain faithful again. There is also a mystery within gratitude. What you honor tends to increase in your awareness. When you honor peace, you notice it more. When you honor growth, you see it more clearly. When you honor provision, you recognize how often it appears. This does not mean you force yourself to pretend everything is perfect. It means you refuse to overlook my hand at work. My beloved child, gratitude is not a performance. It is a posture. As you cultivate it, you will feel your spirit lift. You will experience contentment even while still pursuing goals. You will find satisfaction in progress, not just in completion. And as you walk in gratitude, doors will open with less striving. Opportunities will feel less pressured. Blessings will feel less fragile. Because a grateful heart is a prepared heart. Continue to thank me for what you see and even for what you cannot yet see. Trust that what is forming will align in time. Celebrate small victories. Recognize great growth. My beloved child, gratitude does not close your hands. It opens them wider. And as your hands open in thanksgiving, you will find that there is always more for me to place within them. My beloved child, as gratitude strengthens your heart, I now remind you of something vital. This gift requires your attention. Not anxious attention. Not fearful vigilance. But loving awareness. What I am building within you is precious. And precious things are cared for intentionally. You have learned how easily peace can be disrupted when you allow every voice access to your thoughts. You have seen how quickly confidence can weaken when you immerse yourself in comparison. You have felt how fragile clarity becomes when you entertain constant doubt. The gift I am giving you, healing, strength, identity, courage, peace, must be guarded with wisdom. Imagine tending a small garden. Once seeds are planted and new growth begins, you do not abandon it. You water it. You protect it from weeds. You ensure it receives light. If weeds are allowed to grow unchecked, they compete for nutrients and choke what was meant to flourish. My beloved child, your mind and heart are that garden. You must be mindful of what you allow to take root. Thoughts that say, "This will not last," are weeds. Voices that say, "You are not capable," are weeds. Patterns that drag you back into old fear are weeds. Guarding your gift does not mean isolating yourself from the world. It means being discerning. It means noticing when something unsettles your spirit and stepping back. It means choosing conversations that uplift rather than drain. It means being careful about what you repeatedly rehearse in your thoughts. Attention is not just about listening to me once. It is about returning to my whisper daily. You cannot live on yesterday's clarity alone. You cannot rely solely on last week's peace. Just as your body needs nourishment regularly, your spirit requires consistent alignment. Spend time in stillness. Reflect on truth. Speak gratitude aloud. These small habits sustain what I am growing. There will be moments when distractions attempt to pull you back into old patterns. Fear may knock again. Comparison may whisper again. Doubt may try to reopen doors you have already closed. But now you are more aware. Now you recognize those voices. Do not entertain what contradicts the identity I have restored in you. My beloved child, discipline is not punishment. It is protection. Choosing what you dwell on shapes what you become. Choosing what you consume shapes your perspective. Choosing what you repeat in your thoughts shapes your confidence. Think of a flame protected by a blast covering. Without that covering, strong winds could easily extinguish it. But with protection, the flame grows steadily brighter. The fire within you is real. Guard it. Pay attention to your peace. When something consistently disrupts it without purpose, step away. Pay attention to your energy. When something drains you without growth, reassess. Pay attention to my whisper. When it nudges you toward rest, toward courage, toward truth, respond. This is not about perfection. You will still have moments where you slip into old thinking. But now, instead of staying there, you will return more quickly. You will correct your course gently rather than harshly. My beloved child, attention is an act of love. You do not guard what you do not value. The fact that you care about your peace, your growth, your clarity, that itself is maturity. Continue to protect what I have planted in you. The season ahead will require focus. Opportunities will require discernment. Growth will require steadiness. But you are capable. Remain attentive to me. Remain aware of what strengthens you and what weakens you. Remain anchored in the truth of who you are. And as you guard this gift faithfully, you will see it expand. What began as a quiet shift will become a visible transformation. What started as a whisper will become a steady rhythm in your life. My beloved child, protect the gift. Tend to it. Nurture it. For what I have begun in you is not temporary. It is meant to grow, to flourish, and to shine brightly for seasons to come. My beloved child, you have guarded the gift. You have nurtured the peace. You have learned to recognize my whisper. Now it is time to walk forward without fear. There is movement ahead of you. Not rushed movement. Not chaotic striving, but intentional steps into what I have been preparing. The path before you may not reveal every detail at once, but it is steady, and you are ready to walk it. For a long time, you waited for certainty before moving. You wanted guarantees. You wanted visible proof that every step would succeed. But faith does not require full visibility. It requires trust in the one who sees beyond the bend in the road. Imagine standing at the edge of a long trail that disappears into a forest. You cannot see the entire journey from where you stand, but you can see the first few steps clearly. The ground is solid. The air is calm. And beside you stands someone who knows the path intimately. My beloved child, I know the path. You do not need to map every twist before beginning. You do not need to eliminate every possible risk. You need only to take the next step in peace. There will be moments ahead that stretch you. Conversations that require boldness. Decisions that require trust. Actions that require courage. But remember what has already formed within you. The healing that steadied your heart. The patience that strengthened your roots. The identity that grounded your confidence. You are not stepping forward as the person you once were. You are stepping forward transformed. Fear may attempt one last whisper, what if this does not work? But you now know how to answer. Even if a step requires adjustment, you will not collapse. Even if a path shifts, you will not be abandoned. Even if a lesson emerges, it will refine you rather than define you. Walking without fear does not mean walking without awareness. It means walking without paralysis. It means allowing courage to lead rather than anxiety. My beloved child, you have been prepared for motion. There were seasons of waiting, seasons of healing, seasons of stillness. But those seasons were not meant to last forever. Just as winter gives way to spring, preparation gives way to action. Think of a bird perched on a branch, wings ready. The wind may feel uncertain at first, but the bird was not created to remain perched forever. It was designed to fly. The sky ahead is wide. The air currents will support it. The instinct to soar was placed within it for a reason. In the same way, I placed vision within you. I planted dreams in your heart. I stirred purpose in your spirit. Those were not accidents. They were invitations. You may not move perfectly. You may adjust your steps along the way. That is part of growth. But do not let fear freeze you in place. Move with intention. Speak with confidence. Act with peace. When you wake each morning, ask me for guidance. When you face decisions, listen for my whisper. When you encounter challenges, draw from my strength. But do not shrink back from the path before you. You are not alone on this journey. I walk beside you. I steady you when the ground feels uneven. I redirect you when necessary. I encourage you when doubt tries to creep in. My beloved child, this is a season of forward movement. Let go of hesitation. Let go of old self-doubt. Let go of the need to see every outcome before beginning. The door is open. The path is prepared. The wind is rising gently beneath your wings. Walk forward. And as you do, you will discover that courage grows with each step and confidence strengthens with every act of trust. You are ready. My beloved child, as you walk forward, there is one final revelation I want you to understand before this message draws to its close. The gift I have been speaking of is not only something placed before you, it is something awakened within you. For much of your life, you searched outside yourself for confirmation, for strength, for permission to move. You looked for signs in circumstances, validation from others, reassurance from outcomes. And while I have used many of those things to guide you, the deepest part of this gift has always been closer than you thought. It has been forming inside you. Every lesson you endured, every storm you survived, every tear you cried, every prayer you whispered, all of it shaped something within your spirit. What you thought was merely survival was actually construction. What you thought would delay with development. What you thought was emptiness was preparation. You have been becoming. Imagine a sculptor working patiently on a figure carved from stone. At first, the block looks rough and undefined. With each careful strike, something hidden begins to emerge. The shape was always inside the stone, but it required time and pressure to reveal it. My beloved child, the strength you now carry was always part of your design. It simply needed experience to grow it out. The courage you now feel stirring within you was not created overnight. It was awakened through trust. The peace that steadies your heart was not borrowed. It was cultivated. The gift is not foreign to you. It resonates because it belongs to you. I have placed within you wisdom that is still unfolding. I have woven resilience into your character. I have planted compassion in your heart that will reach others in ways you cannot yet imagine. These are not barren quality. They are expressions of my life flowing through you. You may have doubted your own growth. You may have minimized your own transformation. But look carefully. You respond differently now. You recover more quickly now. You hope more steadily now. These are signs that something profound has shifted. The gift is not only a new opportunity, it is a new awareness of who you are becoming. There were times when you prayed for me to change your circumstances, and instead I strengthened your spirit. There were moments when you asked for immediate relief, and instead I built endurance within you. At the time, you may not have understood why, but now you can see that the inner transformation was more valuable than a temporary solution. My beloved child, what I place inside you cannot be taken away by external conditions. Opportunities may shift. Seasons may change. People may come and go. But the growth within you remains. You are not stepping into the future empty-handed. You carry within you clarity, healing, strength, patience, courage, peace, identity, gratitude. These are not fragile gifts. They are foundations. And as you move forward, you will begin to recognize moments where you act from this inner strength without even thinking. You will comfort others from a place of healed compassion. You will lead from a place of steady confidence. You will make decisions from a place of peaceful clarity. You once believed you needed something outside yourself to finally feel complete. But I have been shaping you from the inside out. The gift is alive in you. It is the quiet confidence rising when doubt tries to return. It is the calm breath you take in moments that once would have overwhelmed you. It is the courage to say yes to what aligns and no to what does not. My beloved child, do not underestimate what has formed within you. You are not the same person who began this journey. You are stronger, wiser, more grounded, more aware of my presence. And as this message draws near its final blessing, know this: what you carry within you will continue to grow. The gift will expand as you walk in it. Light within you will brighten as you trust it. You are not merely receiving something new. You are awakening to who you have been becoming all along. My beloved child, we have walked through much together in these moments. You have listened. You have reflected. You have felt the stirring within your heart. And now, as we come to this closing, I want you to see the full picture of what I have given you. I called you to pay attention because I was placing a gift into your life. That gift was not wrapped in noise or spectacle. It was wrapped in transformation. I have given you clarity where confusion once ruled, healing where pain once lingered, strength where weakness once felt overwhelming, identity where insecurity once whispered, peace where anxiety once lived. You are not who you were when this message began. You have been reminded that closed doors were protection, that waiting seasons were preparation, that storms were training, that fear does not own you, that you are not behind, that opportunities are aligning, that unseen work is unfolding, that a new story is being written, that confidence is rising, that you were chosen for this season, that gratitude unlocks more, that what I have placed within you is powerful. This is the gift. It is a restored heart, a steady mind, a courageous spirit, a new identity, a deeper trust in me. Now I bless you, my beloved child. May your steps be steady and guided. May your heart remain attentive to my whisper. May your courage continue to rise when challenges appear. May your peace guard your thoughts. May your confidence reflect my love. May you walk forward knowing you are protected, positioned, and deeply cherished. And as this message has poured into you, I now speak to those whose hearts feel stirred to help carry this light further. When you sow into this work, you are not supporting a channel. You are helping my word reach weary souls. I tell you, those who sow generously will reap generously, and this is a living promise, not distant ink on a page. If this message strengthened you, let your response become a seed. Through super thanks, through membership, or through the PayPal link waiting in the description and even in the QR code before you, release what I place on your heart. See it as oil fueling a lamp that continues to shine into darkness. Your giving becomes a river that carries hope into homes you may never enter physically. Do not delay the prompting you feel now. Act in faith, and I will bless the generosity that flows from obedience. What you place in my hands multiplies beyond your sight. Step into this moment with courage and give as an act of worship. My beloved child, receive this gift fully. Walk in it daily. Guard it with wisdom. Share its light freely, I am with you. I am for you. I am guiding you. Rest in my love, move in my strength, and step boldly into the days ahead. Amen.